let's get into it. So, this is the High House of Roaring Horn from the Waterdeep box set, 1989 or 88, I believe. The Roaring Horns, notorious partygoers, worshippers of Timora, the goddess of luck. I chose the Roaring Horns because I played my first proper Forgotten Realms campaign with a Eldritch Knight turned Paladin of Ilmater named Tavarish Roaring Horn from Amphail, which is just to the north of Waterdeep. So, those of you who weren't with us last time, we were using this screenshot from that I took from a PDF of the box set. Now, we're just going to go ahead and move that up the layers a little. Move that up the layers a bit. And for whatever reason, so the opacity, okay. Looks like the opacity on Incarnate sometimes needs to be manually toggled to get that off and then back on again. So be it. So, as we can see here now, we've got our main hallway, 2 bedrooms. Last week I accidentally missed putting this doorway in, which created this odd little illusion that we had a quieter person in this bedroom and an absolute party goer who needed two bedroom doors. And that's okay. We're going to go with that. Sometimes these little mistakes in editing sort of create a story in and of themselves, and we're going to stick with it. So, moving on though, now you can see we have bedroom, main hall. So, we have 2 tables here and what look to be shelves, maybe a fireplace, those possibly some stacked barrels. Then we have stairs, and actually the stairs are fun. Let's have a play with the stairs. This is something I did in the maps for Coach Close, the tenement building on Coach's Close that our heroes are currently working their way through. So this staircase has... Oh, and let's not forget there's also... Okay, so there's double doors that take up the first 2 squares, and then the stairs take up the next 2 squares, and then 1 square for the bottom of the stairwell. That should be easy enough to manage. First things first, we're just going to go ahead and delete that wall. And we'll, these are still exterior doors, so I think we'll still make them rather big in the chunky door style. We'll just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're just going to shrink them down a little bit so that they are still of the roughly appropriate size. Now, remember we had the 1, 2, 3, 4 for the stairs, 5. Because we have an interior wall, we've got a little bit more space to work with, so we can afford to make these doors just a little bit bigger. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and again, in order to make them a double door, let's just go ahead and flip them. And then we'll take one of these smaller walls. Pop it about there. And, we're we're using these pillar type shapes and all the important spots. So let's just go ahead and drop one of those there. Now, just to keep things neat, you might have seen, I think this is the one. Yes, we got this funky little sort of bleeding effect, so that it doesn't look like we've got a long one and a small one. It looks like we just got one long one. Now we're going to make our stairs. Now the only stairs they really have in the stamp palette, not gonna lie, kinda ugly. So we're gonna do something a little bit different here. First things first, let's just make the exterior of that stairwell no. Unfortunately, it looks like they are all at different levels, so we're just going to have to move them down manually. So be it. And we'll copy paste this so we have our, as you can see, like we've still got roughly our 2 squares and a square here. And you know, unless you're going to be really anal about your battle maps and your token placements, you don't have to meet the grid exactly. I mean, obviously it looks better to the eye if you do, but you know, your characters and their tokens, your monster tokens, NPC tokens, whatever, they don't have to be exactly on a grid square. The grid squares are there to give you an idea of line of sight, movement, and area of effect type spells. Now, we're going to do something a little bit funky here. So first things first, we're just going to move the walls of the stairwell up to level 2 so that we can take, okay, we can take this one, and what we're going to do is just copy and paste it a bunch of times. Try and get maybe a little bit of overlap. And it really helps if we can do it in such a way that these items are all come out in the same rough area of the stamp list. We'll do one more and place that in here. Okay, now we're just going to take these. Okay. Odd. 1, 2. So unfortunately that hasn't worked quite the way I'd liked. Okay, I see what happened. That is annoying as hell, but we'll make do. So we'll just delete these ones. So if we take these 4, this works, good. Now let's try and take these top 2 again. See if we, okay. See now we have 6 stairs all lined up in our list like so. So we move them in there, and then as soon as we drop them back down to layer 1, it looks roughly like stairs. Now in order to get that illusion going just a little bit better, we're going to go ahead and start manually editing each one just a little bit. Now we've got 6, so let's go ahead and advanced settings. We're going to go down to brightness, and we're going to adjust the brightness of this bottom step down to, I like an even 50%. See how that works. And then we take the next one, and we'll set that to 55%. Next one, 60, 65, 70, 75. Now, see, that's not working quite. I mean, you can see the effect happening now, and this will be 75, I think. Yep. Not too bad, but you know, there were a lot more stairs in the previous stairwell, so instead, let's maybe start this at 75 and move it up to 100. As you can see, obviously now we're just creating the effect that it's a little bit darker because it's a little bit further away. And voila, stairs. Now we'll find the staircase that we just made, and we're just going to drop a copy of it over here to use when we get our second floor started, just so we don't have to go ahead and make it all over again. That'll of course again keep the darker shaded stairs where the ground floor end of the stairs is. You know, I wonder if there's any way to make this a little less okay, so that's an interesting effect. Let's maybe up the contrast of this. See how that looks, and just really try and create the effect that this is a separate kind of timber. Okay, so that looks a bit more distinct now. We'll just go ahead and do that. And as luck would have it, we can do the whole thing as a group as well. Okay. Would have been great to know a little bit earlier, but better than discovering it right at the very end of the map. Okay. So now we'll come back to our main stamp. And again, so, I mean, there seems to be meeting tables everywhere here. It's just sort of getting the impression that this is a storeroom, this is a meeting hall, a dining hall, whatever, and this is just sort of a bit of a crossover between the two. So we can do that. Let's just start with some crates in the corner. So once again, we'll just drop that opacity back down, head to our stamps, and no, we don't have any nope, we don't have any crates or boxes left over, so let's find, see if there's a warehouse option. Okay, if not warehouse, docks is normally going to be a good place to find stacks of crates, barrels, etc. These will be probably level 2-ish, and still can't see any. Size 500, probably too big to see. Also, our opacity is down at 0 still. The opacity sort of sticking around between various stamp layers, bit odd. I feel like if you're in the place a new stamp option, that should probably be back at 1 or whatever opacity your previous stamps were being placed at. But that's okay. Now we're not going to completely randomize this. We don't want this weird looking fellow showing up. But, we can certainly place a few of our own slightly randomized. Of course, if you're going to have an open box, probably going to be closest to the front. And then, we'll just stack another crate or two on top of that. That's fine with a bit of overlap because we'll just move it so that the overlap is gone. There we go, that works. Hey, Taquitos and God King, welcome back. Yeah, I wasn't sure this was going to happen today. I'm afraid, the pain has been a little grumpy, so now we're here. Sort of had to leave it to the last minute. Otherwise, I would have hyped it a little bit more, but I didn't want to hype something and then just pull the plug at the last minute. Rather just sneak in quietly. Okay, so we got some shit stacked in the corner. As a DM I used to work with in Neverwinter Nights would say, just put some shit around the outside. Frustrating advice, but sound all the same. Let's go find ourselves some tables. Of course, we won't find tables out on the docks. Okay, well, we don't need to bring out the very best of tables for the back rooms. This is sort of the back room. And once again, size is at 500 because Incarnate, good job Incarnate. And once again, opacity set back down to 0 because what are you doing, Incarnate? Why do I use Photoshop for my maps during the game? Because I haven't worked out Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, or any of the others. I have a few issues with the way some of the fantasy map systems have dealt with some of their issues in the past. And as great as Tabletop Simulator would be to play around in, my old laptop's just not going to handle it. Hey, so Hoss, thank you very much for that follow. Um, I guess an advantage of following during one of the map making streams is you can get a shout out and a thank you because we're all going to be too focused on the game during the main episode. Uh, yeah, so maybe we'll look into something more three-dimensional, just much prettier and funkier to look at. But that's going to be a little bit later on down the track. Maybe I'll be able to wangle a deal with Meta PCs. So, oh, Hoss accounts are bots. Well, hello, Ellie. Always a pleasure to have you in here. Um, no kidding. All right, good to know. Um, what's a sword? Dare I ask? Oh, yeah, Ellie. I believe you got a promotion. Okay, so where were we? Let's jump back to the Roaring Horn map. Not quite to scale, but we can... Oh yeah, that's a tiny table. Ellie absolutely gets the band blade. So someone tell me a story about these Hoss bots. Yeah, absolutely. There is no service level agreement between Law and Order and Jelly Ellie Fisher's Enterprises. We just trust her to be able to jump in if she sees a need. Okay, so we'll just plonk that up there and then we can stick a couple of stools in, and that's that little 2x2 square area sorted. Yeah, taquitos, there's something about having custom tokens that just makes every encounter so much better. I say this with a mild amount of embarrassment because both Jess and Ellie are in my Curse of Strahd campaign where I've made custom tokens for them, but not for the bad guys that I've made for Law and Order. So I should probably step up my game for the non-streamed campaign a little bit. Otherwise, that could be awkward. Let's grab ourselves some simple wooden stools. And once again, our opacity's dropped down to 0 and our size has gone out the wazoo. Incarnate, please. Let's set that to 50. Yeah, 50 will work. And drop that down to level 1 and it should automatically... Our stools are automatically tucked under the table. Fan-freaking-tastic. Okay, now, as we saw previously, our this little back room here is just full of storage. In fact, even looks like some damaged stuff just here, which is great. Roaring Horn parties love to break furniture. It's rowdy, it's loud, it's wonderful. I imagine like games of fisticuffs every night. So we're going to go to my favorite stamp catalog section called Clutter. Oh, there's even Broken. Let's check out Broken first. Who? Couple of broken chairs look good. What is that? Looks like, yeah, is that a... maybe imagine for a moment that the Roaring Horns tried to go a little more cultural And once again, it's fucking huge and completely invisible. Let's make it 40. Let's say they brought in a... Oh, no, still too big. Let's make it 25. Yeah, let's say that the Roaring Horns tried to go cultural and they brought in a baby piano. And as you would expect, that shit got broken in the first bar fight. And that was the last time the Roaring Horns tried to be genteel. Okay, taquitos, that's okay. We'll have a look at the stream elements. We might want to just turn off all the stream elements chat modding and leave it completely in the hands of Nightbot. Yeah, I think stream elements is great for overlays. Might be a little bit. Jess, you can log into stream elements the same way you would log into. Uh, you know what? I'm not going to say that out loud. It's okay. She's got it. We're going to add a few more. Right, I'm getting the hang of this. I still can't trust me to make tweets, but I'm getting the hang of everything else. Let's actually go back to Broken. Broken was interesting to look through. So they have broken staircases, but they don't have unbroken staircases, and we have to make it manually. Now that's just weird. Chuck a few broken chairs thrown away in the corner as well, and we'll shrink those back down. This is one where we can use random stamps, I think. We'll just have these sort of tucked away somewhere. Now let's have a broken table or two to go with it. And then we'll just throw some crates down in the corner. Interesting. So these are kind of mirrored almost, which means it might just be better to pop that down here in a corner. We kind of want to break the illusion of just copy pasting. Good night, Ellie. Always a pleasure to see you there. Get some good rest, and we'll see you again in a little bit. Now we'll just increase that just so you know we're tucking that underneath the table. Although I think we might make it a touch smaller. Oh, this is Elysium. I think we heard this last week. This is a funky little fantasy slash dubstep, which I like the feel of for Waterdeep. I want that. It's somewhere in the 1600s, but it's also somewhere in the 1920s and the 1950s, and just capturing a little bit of the best of every era. Okay, I don't like that. Let's just rotate that a bit. There's no music streaming at the moment. I see. Well, what have I... Because I... See, I faded the music out all clever-like at the end of last week's map-making stream, and OBS cleverly remembered that. So I've been chilling out listening to this epic music that none of y'all been hearing until now. This is why things work better when I'm just DMing. I'm going to do what's called a pro streamer move and actually have music in my stream. Oh, amazing. Amazing. Yes, dude. Yes. Okay. Oh, wowza scoop. Amazing. All right. Just noticing that should be a little bit higher as well. There we go. Okay. And now we have this last room, which, look, sort of seems to be in a similar vein to this room, except... No. Okay, we're going to say that this is... God King, I love Gregorian chant. I had a collection of CDs of Gregorian chant back in the day. I don't know if there's any floating around out there on Epidemic Sound that we can use royalty free. But my favorites were Gregorian chants of modern music. Sort of like Scott Bradley, but if Scott Bradley was from the 12th century and rocked out with Thomas Aquinas, you know? So we're going to say that this is actually a den. We can put another nice fireplace in there. We can say these are wine barrels. And look, I'm not sure what's going on here, but we'll find something classy to put in there. So this is more of a meeting room, we'll say planning expeditions, stuff like that. That'll fit with the overall theme, and it'll save us just having another meeting room. Whisper chant. Okay, I'm interested. I'm down. Let's start with a fireplace. Hyalong. Can't say I have. No. We don't want broken fire. Well, apparently we have broken fireplaces, but we want these ones to work. These ones are going to be a little... Once again, they're massive and invisible. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that fits about right. The Who. Oh, I love The Who. Which would... I love The Who and The Who. But the throat singer guy is amazing. take this fella, and so we're going to move him down there so that any subtle overlap just, there we go. It's again subtle, but you can just see the difference. This is now just sort of tucked in against the wall. We'll make him a little bit bigger. Tell you what, taquitos, pick out one of their best ones in your opinion and throw it on Twitter and tag me in it, and I will give that a listen. Okay, now if this is a meeting room and there's a second thing tucked in here somewhere, let's see if we can make that a stove. We're going to create this idea that this is somewhere where people might sit down, have meals together whilst planning expeditions. And so, yeah, screw it. Maybe they'll keep some food warm, put some mead or wine on, because hot mead, mulled wine, mwah, it is genuinely good stuff. Had a momentary mind fart, but now we're back. Okay, well, this is good to know for another stove. There we go. Well, it says steampunk, but like I said, I kind of want to embrace sort of the best of all the different eras. And if there's a little bit of steampunk, like just a dash of it in Waterdeep, I'm entirely okay with that. Yeah, God King, I could imagine that not being a way I'd like to wake up. Why would you even have that in an auto play shuffle? Don't create an option in which that can wake you up in the middle of the night. You know, like if I'm going to make a playlist or have a library and just shuffle that while I sleep, I don't think that's something I want in there. Just putting that out there. Okay, let's get a couple of tables. And once again, it's got to be something like every time I select the original overlay, it resets the size and the opacity. I think that's what's happening here. Now, they had something different, like I think they had a table here, and we'll shrink this down a bit more. Move. Put this about here, and you know what? We'll stick the other one. Yeah, okay. No, that's fair. I can give that. See, I'm probably going to be a lot more discerning with my music. I'm fairly eclectic, but you know, I have certain beliefs, and so yeah, I think some songs I'm just not going to want in my library. One does not simply study Thomas Aquinas. Open catalog. Now let's find wine barrel. Whoop, only one L. We have 3 wine barrels to choose from. Okay. Well, obviously we want to start with these. I didn't even select the overlay. Why? Why you do this? Okay, we got a little bit of pixelation here. That's odd. I don't. There we go. Much better. And yeah, we'll put a couple here that have. Actually, yeah. You know what? I like this. I like this. We'll chuck this boy in the corner here. He's on standby. And again, gotta remember to make sure he's underneath the wall layers. Looks like these are all level 5. That's no good. Okay, we'll just have to raise those walls up a touch. Probably want to just work out your layers for the very start of map making, which I did not do here. I sort of had an idea about where I wanted all the layers to be. But we need, for example, our external walls to be, say, 4, our internal walls to be 3, and then we have 2 layers for furniture, and that gives us a 5 for like chimneys and stuff that we want to overlap the main wall, the exterior walls. And you know, 2 layers for like tables and chairs tucked underneath them. I think we're just gonna put like benches down here, like your trestle table benches. Again, this is more of a practical space than an entertaining space. Well, I'm not sure what it was, but it is now. Long bench. This is getting to be a habit. Whoops. No idea why that had happened, but there we go. Yeah, I have this notion particularly when it comes to media, that you are what you eat applies to media just as much as it applies to food. So we don't want to shrink that down too much, because, you know, butts tend to have the same width. So from here we will want to just adjust the settings in transformation. Let's make that an even 80 and copy paste that. So, you know, I think if you're listening to music with very heavy angry or nihilistic sort of themes, you probably shouldn't be too surprised if you wind up feeling very heavy and nihilistic. Wow, got these layers all over the place. Okay, so, you know, we've got the functionality sorted out. Let's pretty the place up just a wee bit. Okay, so we're going to make some wine racks. Now, I don't think they have wine racks. No. So what we're going to do is go to market, I believe. Docks or market. Let's see if they have marketplace. Okay, I guess we'll just try docs. Where did I put docs? Help. Send help. Brain's doing the do again. Well, doing the don't, actually. And markets included under docs. Great. Okay, this looks like it'll work quite nicely. We're going to take this. We're going to take this warehouse rack, and lo and behold, yep, we're going to shrink it back down and make it visible again. Okay, now we're going to take this bottle. Copy paste it. Once again, I got my layers all over the shop. Move that to 1 and make that 2. And look at that. Yeah, beautiful. We can get that nice and straight. Now we don't have to adjust the size of that at all because it's the same bottle as somewhere else on the same map. I think you can change things up and down a little bit. Hello, Mitch. I don't know what to say to that. Hello, son. How was school today? And then I think we're just gonna copy paste that a few times, and we'll just go through and adjust the color. I like that. Mitch comes in and says, "Hello, father," right as the creepy story time music starts. And by I love it, I mean I hate it. I'm not okay with this on any level. And I can hear Mitch cackling to himself. Anyone who's heard Mitch cackle knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so stacked a little bit odd. Let's also okay, so that's on me. I thought it was straight. It was not. And look, ordinarily it wouldn't matter if it's a few degrees out, but when we're stacking them in so tightly, that's when you start to notice that small differential. And this will enable us to space them out just a little bit better. I don't think I moved that at all. We'll move that one down 1. Okay, and now we'll just, we can have repeats of the same color. We'll just change a hand. No, not saturation. Hue. Still need a bit more we always need a bottle or two of absinthe. And one more. And now have a wine rack. Okay, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pare this one back a little bit. Let's try the saturation. That label is sticking out like a sore thumb, which makes me sad. That's a bit better. good. Select all of that, and I think we can bring the brightness down just a little bit. Tucked away in the shadow in the corner there. Okay, this is good. We'll add a rug or two for the floors, and I think we're done with that room. Okay, again, just good to make a mental note. If we want stairs that are fancy with carpet, we're covered, but if we want plain wooden stairs, not so much. Let's get rid of carpet and replace it with rug. Okay, I am interested to see what these faded rugs look like when they're a normal size and visible again. Okay, so I think this is similar to those that bleeding effect piece of wall. It's really just there so we can have long runners of carpets that look like one piece and not, the same one layered over and over and over. So we'll get rid of that. Okay, that's kind of cool. We can use this for storage areas as well. And I think for now they're not giving us a whole lot of options, are they? We'll just stick with the Persian for now. And stick one underneath there. Okay, awkward. What are you going to do? Delete. Selection tool. So we'll just pop these up to level 2. Select the carpet. Also move it up a bit more and make that layer 1. And we'll just copy paste that. Make it just a touch bigger. And that looks pretty good for the first floor. Okay, so one thing we do want to do is check out the map of Waterdeep. Now for that, unfortunately the map I've got's all the way back over there, or a digital copy, but I think, okay, I know I've got a copy in my City of Splendors book from Wizards of the Coast, so it's 3rd ed. And we want, where do we put the maps? Now, the High House of Roaring Horn is just south of the Sword Maiden in the North Ward, which is further back this way. It's the Castle Ward. Show me the bloody North Ward. awkward. Maybe we'll do the outside later. I'll prepare a picture of the overlay of where the house itself sits on the street. It's not necessary to go into that level of detail, but I do find that putting in the effort early means never being caught out later on if you're just making stuff up on the fly. If you try to make up as much as you can from the same source material. So we'll just leave the exterior for now, and we'll go and start preparing the second floor. Now, thankfully, let's just grab everything that says Tudor. Oh, they are all over the place, aren't they? Because, you know, I don't see any reason why we can't just copy paste the entire external walls. Oh, okay. Muck that up just a wee bit. Let's move that up to there. How's that look? Looks pretty decent to me. NGL. Okay, now we'll delete this extra one. How's that look? We'll just... There's our edges. And we place another one right here, and voila, they are all roughly the same wall. Let's deselect everything, go to the original, boop. Okay, so we're definitely gonna need to start putting in some internal walls. Now, I personally don't understand why a noble villa doesn't have any balconies. We're going to go ahead and create a balcony right here. We'll just say it's an extension they added in the last 100 years or so since the original book came out. Well, actually, that's way back in 2nd edition. That could be as far back as 300 years. Technically, the whole place could have been torn down and rebuilt. So, you know, we can take some freedom and some liberties. Thank you, thank you. A place without a balcony, it's just not the same, you know. I have a thing for balconies, just being out in the open, looking down, surveying my domain, even if my domain is a parking lot and a train line, and then some nice hills. Right, thank you. Yes, dude, yes. Okay, we need to make some internal walls. So our first main wall goes straight up from this corner. Next one goes straight out from that corner. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Easy enough. And we'll sort out the doors afterwards. So let's make this invisible again. And let's get ourselves some internal walls, some nice long ones. Do the majority of the heavy lifting. Again, you know, we're probably going to have to pull some of these out and resize them for the doors, but that's okay. For now, we just need to see where the doors are going to be in the first place. Okay, yep, that's fine. Make another one and rotate that. You know what? I think we can leave a gap there. The door's going to be somewhere along that wall. Now we come down 4. And then I think there's going to be more than 12 squares, but let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then maybe 13. Not too bad. Okay. Let's actually go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's put one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll just shrink that a little bit there. Yeah, the house could have shifted over the years. It's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, let's see where the doors are gonna go. Okay, double doors, double doors. Ooh, good crick. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, easy enough. So we'll just grab them there. Now, I have completely forgotten where the double doors were. Good job, Mikey. Okay, so this one's not too bad. This one's right at the very bottom, sort of marking halfway between the corner and that dividing wall. And that's sort of the same again, really, as honestly as that. And it's just this one that's tucked away in the corner. So we're aiming for the halfway marks, which of course is not going to be as easy to just tuck them in the gaps, but that's okay. So let's delete this. Why do I feel like I've got more than just one thing selected? What on earth am I moving? It's just the one wall and it's taking... Incarnate, I love you. You confuse me sometimes. What is this? What are you? Okay, let's take a single internal wall piece. Out of interest, if I move my cursor there... Okay, so that's really cool to know. So I'm gonna delete this. And then if I put my cursor about here... Beautiful! I love it. Okay, so let's... shrink the doors a little bit. make do with that there. We're going to put another one here and then rotate it. Just a little, no, we're not going to be quite that lucky, but that's okay. Move that up to number 2. Probably should save our work at this point. Thank you for the reminder. It's one thing Incarnate does do very well. We might use this save as an opportunity for the quick trip to the little map maker's room. I will be right back. And here we are back. Mitch, I don't understand why you just said Sopranos, but a great reference. I did wash my hands, yes. We are living in a pandemic, plus it's just polite, you know? Everything just went black. Odd. It should be coming back up in a moment. Let me know how this is going. Well, God King Rising said that, welcome back, so there we go. Thea, hello. So, oh, of course. So, I'm liking my chances of bringing out the Insane Halfling for this afternoon's stream. Obviously, me being me, anything can change, but definitely up to a nice chilled out map making stream, which is mwah. One thing I don't like about these double doors is if they're made to be small enough. Let's just shrink that down. I'll have you know, Jess is not a halfling. Jess is a pixie. Now that I've just said that out loud, I'm probably a dead man, but I'm going out with a smile on my face. Catch me out here keeping an eye on the comments to see just how dead a man I am. So it looks like anything below 25 in these double doors just sort of come out too small to really be comfortable in a map. So we're going to jump these up now. So that actually sitting there in stunned silence, planning my demise, and you know, live adventurously on the edge. How's that looking up close? Oh, that's ugly. Okay, let's clean that up a bit. And we'll just make this 75. Lo and behold. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so there's those two doors done. Now, according to the map, these doors are half... I remain uncomfortable when the selection box is that freaking big. Oh, that's the original map. I'm just moving it around because that's how we do apparently. We'll just line that back up as best we can. Huh. Good-o. There we go, much better. Now we know that this is halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a halfway line. So realistically, we're just going to delete him. Pop those there. We're going to need... And again, I always lose the... Nope. Okay, let's be lazy and let's move that up to about 130. Yeah, that's 135, and that's definitely covering 2 squares. And now we just copy paste right there. I do want to move this wall up one, because with this looks like it's sort of the main structural wall, so it should, this one should be married into that, not the other way around. Now, go back to our original map. Yep. Now it's just that one door in this corner, so place that there. Gonna delete this wall anyway to put a door there. Gonna place that there. Put that up to 150 maybe. Nope. 175. No, we'll just make it an even 200. Beautiful. Oh, the quiet DM is wonderful when you're the quiet DM in question. Now we just need a single door to sit here. Yeah, I think this can be a door that swings in, because this is a storeroom after all. It's not that big a deal. And we'll just go ahead and slip that in there under the main walls. And would you believe it? The insane halfling is Cobalt Fire. So way back when I first started playing D&D with other people on Neverwinter Nights Online, while I was playing my kind of signature character, a bard named Sangreal, two of my friends were playing hilariously simple halflings. There was Nickelfire, who was a barbarian, and then the same guy years later would come back and play Copperfire, who was a wizard, and they were both just adorably simple, enthusiastic about everything, high on life, frequently get other people into trouble. It was amazing. So, when I read Path of Wild Magic in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, I saw that as just being like the perfect combination of the two of them. Like, one of them had a son, one of them had a daughter, and then they went on to marry and had a grandchild who was just the best of both worlds. And then, of course, we can multi-class a little bit later on down the line and add a splash of wild magic sorcerer in there, and gonna have so much fun. I rolled the height, and we got the smallest halfling imaginable, so about 2 foot 7 inches, and because scimitars are light weapons, he can dual wield scimitars, so he can dual wield weapons that each are taller than he is. I think that's just going to be a lot of fun to be like instead of like an angry rage, just like a maniacal laughter of joy, just spinning around a battlefield with two scimitars at roughly kneecap length. And he's just going to be the happiest, politest, like happy-go-lucky little halfling who just happens to excel in the most random forms of murder and violence. Wholesome, really. I mean, yeah, it's just so much fun. I mean, I can't let you kill my friends, so, I mean, I'm just gonna have to kill you back. He's good. He's chaotic, but good. Oh no. Yes. I think we'll also just take this opportunity to clean up the paint layer a little bit. Make it a bit smaller. That's a good quote, God King. Let's remember that for another time. Okay, now the only other thing we really... I mean, obviously we still want to paint all around the outside of this map, but for now I think we'll just make sure this stairwell's at the right spot. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Okay, so we just need to shuffle these up a wee bit more. I don't want to be one of those players that actively sets out to derail everything. I think those, lol, I'm random. No, you're a dick. But it's never a bad thing to put a little bit of fear into the DM, is it? And I can say that comfortably because I got to deal with Tenzo. I know. That's why I said I feel okay saying this because I'm the DM who has to deal with Tenzo Aberdeen. I honestly don't know what I was expecting from Keegan. That wasn't it. Now, of course, we've got to remember that this stairwell now opens on the other side. Ooh, okay. Not too much mania from me if I actually want to do stuff. Mania is funny. Mania is not great for energy levels. Okay, now we got our stairwell sorted. And there was one more room back here or not? No, just a table. Okay, so we've got all of our walls sorted. Thea, sorry to ask, could you remind me again when it was 2:30 that we were going to look at, well, you, I guess, were going to look at starting your one shot? Just want to make sure I'm leaving 2:30. Excellent. Just want to make sure I'm leaving myself enough time to rest and recover. Even it's sort of a cripple thing, is even if I don't make it, I don't ever want that to be from lack of trying. So I'll make sure I give myself at least an hour. We'll finish up at about 20 past 1, which is about right. We started at 20 past 11. So 20 minutes late in, 20 minutes late out, and we're good. Now again, we're sort of coming up to this similar problem where, okay, we got a nice bedroom here, a nice bedroom here. For the life of me, I don't understand why there is a storeroom off a bedroom. So I think we're going to change that. Instead of a storeroom, we'll say this bedroom has its own like really nice fireplace added. Say this is the master bedroom. Let's make this a really nice bathroom, like a really nice bathroom. Okay, now one thing that I'm trying to do is set anything that involves plumbing, particularly anything that involves plumbing that's not on the ground floor, I feel should be against an external wall, just for the sake of pipes and stuff being able to go out through the external wall and straight down into a sewer system. Even in tenements, where they're all packed up next to each other, a city can still set it up so that pipes can go into like shared adjoining walls. So we're going to make sure that anything that we would fill with water can be drained appropriately. Again, do we need to go to this sort of detail? No, but it makes me feel better as a world builder, knowing that if anyone out there is like me and wants to think about these things, there's an answer. I mean, you can always hand wave it with, it's Dungeons and Dragons, a wizard did it. But, wizards are jealous of their time, and they don't want to be dealing with plumbing. I mean, it's not very becoming a wizard to be dealing with the Plumbers Guild. So let's go into our catalog and bath. No. Tub. Okay. Now you note I've gone to look at a test tube first, but I feel like brass tub might have something, but this test tubes might also be usable, just as like a really big round tub. Let's start with a brass tub and just see how that looks. Once again, make it visible. It is not a brass tub for giants. Now again, remembering that each square is 5 foot, let's try putting this about here, and then we're going to futz with the transform sliders, make it a little bit smaller. Let's try making that an even 80. And then we're going to try making this one 50. See how it looks. See if we could make this like a nice 10 foot by 10 foot, more like a hot tub than anything else. That could work. So that's... Oh, Malawi Bloat, hello. Thank you for the follow. I've been reliably informed that anything with the word HOS is a bot. So Zach Sap TV _ HOS. Maybe welcome, I don't know. I'm a newbie. You know what? Let's be wholesome and say welcome anyway. Even if you're a bot. Bots can be welcome. May they remember me when the robot revolution comes. Let's make that 160. Okay, so look up close, that's not ideal. It does look a little bit out there, a little bit distorted slightly. But let's see what it looks like. Okay, so when we're at a slightly zoomed out, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, now, life of me, let's remember where we put the commode. Now, is it a commode? It is not a commode. It may actually just be straight up toilet. Apparently it's a prison toilet, but so be it. Shrink it, make it visible. This is... And nobles we may be, but we don't need more than one toilet in the house. You know, this is something where maybe we will put some external toilets out here on the ground floor for visitors. You know, places like this, there's communal baths in large cities, but nobles in particular probably want their own place to do a deuce. And we want people to have options for, like, okay, we're dealing with assassinations. Well, an assassin might, in a world where an assassin can turn into a fly, maybe they actually want to like turn into a rat maybe and try scurrying up a drain pipe. We want to create options for people to have intelligent assassinations, or in the case of our unlikely heroes, maybe intelligent infiltrations that are just considerably undignified. Now, being nobles, however, we will not be having our toilets just right out in the open. We're going to create a... Okay, you know what? Let's move this here. Oop, that needs to go down. Now, do we have curtains? Now, of course, if we don't have curtains, any just like a squiggly line will do. Okay, these are not really the sort of curtains we're looking for. That's probably closer because we want top down. Let's go with that nice orange, sort of go with the dark wood. Whoops, okay, don't double tap the paste button, there's a good lad. A little bit of overlap there, and let's make sure. Oh, that's no good. We'll just raise all the external walls up a bit. That needs to be a bit higher as well, doesn't it? Whoop. There we go. See, now it looks... Now, one thing what we will do, because we are in a noble's house... Okay, we have flower pots. I think these are all flower bushes to go outside. Now, lavender's always great around the loo, but again, they're quite small. Here we go. A flower pot with bluish purple, which will make for a scented plant quite nicely. What's this about? Well, this is less about being pretty. Whoop. Okay, so we had the random stamps on again. Oh, just reading up on chat about the assassin commode. Clever. Well, I definitely want this to be the sort of campaign environment where people consider these sorts of things. You know, they might find a dead noble one day who's just laying dead with their breeches around their ankles, and they're going to have to work out who had the means and the will to crawl through a sewer pipe. And it's going to be amazing just watching the characters, just watching the penny drop when they go, oh god, they climbed up through the sewer pipe. Cool. Amazing. Okay, so we have a simple bathroom stall. You know what, maybe just a small mat at there for them cold feet in the middle of the night. That's where one of these simple rugs will do just fine. Drop the size up, the opacity. Hmm. Okay, so we're going to have to raise all of these by 1. There we go. Not gonna lie, that's a genuinely great quote. In the Chateau Cheyenne, no one ever again shat unworried. What a line. We'll go back to our rugs. Up the opacity, down the size. Look, if any of you get an idea about a truly clever way to assassinate somebody using the spells, the magic items, the skill and class, the class abilities and skills, absolutely. You know what? Just send that to me on Twitter, um, as a DM of some sort, and may show up in the show. And once it has shown up, and once the secret has been solved, then we'll go ahead and make sure you get your credit for sending that idea to us. But obviously, we don't want to give away the secret too soon. Oblivion Dark Brotherhood. Yep. I've only played Skyrim, I'm afraid. I'm a filthy newbie to the Elder Scrolls. But hey, better in late than not at all, yeah? I think we could do with some more greenery in here just to sort out these corners. Unless anyone can think of maybe some marble. Also, you know what? I think we want to go with a slightly different floorboard just to create that visual delineation. Yeah, I've heard that about Oblivion. I've heard that the Oblivion quests with the Dark Brotherhood are second to none. There's some sort of murder mansion, almost like a competition, Danganronpa style. I haven't played Danganronpa, but I'm all too aware of how the story works. Or the concept of the game. Let's go to our catalog. I think we could manage some tiles. Let's see how it looks. Okay, well that looks horrible, but that's because the site, no, not that, advanced settings, the size of the tiles is horrible because they look way too big. That looks more appropriate. Let's try that. Obviously we don't want like heavy looking stone floors on the first floor. That just looks weird. Although what we could do is try this. So it looks like we got all black tiles in here and then checkered tiles everywhere else. Could work. I think we'll just go ahead and put some foliage. Up the opacity, down the size. It's getting to be a Getting to be a bit of a mantra with this, isn't it? Having said that, we drop that there. Drop this one here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, honestly, that's hard to say, God King. That could be anywhere from novels, like you mentioned, some video games, as long as they're not too well known and obvious. You might just be going through a rulebook one day, or reading a D&D article about a new release, and you see an ability and a thought enters your devious little mind. Next thing you know, you're plotting assassination of a high-ranking merchant or guild member somewhere in what would seem to be an impregnable crime scene. So don't let me stifle your intake. Okay, that's not a bad little bathroom, and by little I mean huge. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 20 by 30 feet. My bedroom bathroom's not that big. I want to say I look forward to many clever, grisly. Oh, I don't know. Part of me is worried about encouraging you, my dude. But bring it, absolutely. Alright. I think the last thing we need in here is a cabinet of some sort to maybe store, I don't know, towels and robes, and I drop the opacity instead of moving it. Also, it does look a little bit bright for that setting. Let's just turn the brightness down a wee bit. Yeah, that looks a bit better. And we'll just go ahead and grab one of these dresses. And that looks pretty good. And you know what? If I was designing a bathroom, leaning into the roaring horn part of my nature, we're just gonna go ahead and maintain that it is a desire of mine to have a large shower, enough seating for like 4 people or 2 people stretched out on large benches, and there's going to be a bar fridge in the wall. And the roaring horn equivalent of that is absolutely going to be a wine rack in the master bedroom, ensuite. And, you know, just one sitting on the floor from last night's revelries. I wonder if we have a puddle of some sort somewhere in here. Spill. Nah. Not even a puddle. Splash? Where's clutter? Once again, stuff's gone missing. I think there's still there's a tag hidden in here somewhere. thanks. I hate it. What if I add those? Okay, let's try adding food. Now, we all know that there was food in there somewhere, so something screwed up here. When in doubt, have you tried turning it off and on again? At least we have clutter now. Okay. Bear with me. We might be able to use the broken tablecloth. Not ideal, but better than nothing. Okay. Sewer slime probably still looks a little too textured, congealed-ish. Congealed. Let's try the broken tablecloth. As weird as that sounds, I think we can make it work. Make that a lot smaller. Push that there. Make it appear under the bottle. And then let's if anything, the problem might be a lack of color. Blue looks like the only reasonable color we can get out of it, and I was hoping for a red. Oh, but if we... Nope, not that one. If we go ahead and stick a red, not art rug, go ahead and stick a red rug under that. Oh, that's as small as we can make it. Okay, so be it. And then we're gonna blend it. Just like that. And lo and behold, we have ourselves a spilled wine bottle. Okay, so I think last thing we'll do is just spread these wine bottles about a little bit more. Of course, when they're not as tightly packed, that's when we can afford to just add a little bit of clutter to it. But again, we will just make them a little bit darker and sort of bring them into the lighting effect of this room. And of course the one thing we did not add was lights. So we'll quickly do that. Now we remember there is a tag for lighting. And I don't think we're ready for electric light bulbs of some sort yet, but let's just grab those sconces from downstairs. Shrink the size, up the opacity. Yep, 40 looks good to me. We will put them in at level 2, I see, no, 1. And I think we'll put one here as well. Definitely going to have to increase that so it appears above the bathtub. Okay, that all but disappears on top of the bathtub. That's awkward. We'll just delete that. And then I think we'll put a couple of small candles. No, just the same. No, turn off random stamps. Delete. And you know, let's sort of make it look like we've got little candles built into the sides of our bathtub. Oh, no wonder that bathtub's at level 5. Good job, Mikey. Move it down to level 1. Much better. And I think we'll leave that there. We got ourselves nice little Nobles ensuite, and we're ready to start packing out the top floor, add a balcony. We will need to go back and put some windows in as well, and then we'll sort of build the grounds. And that, once again, is the High House of Roaring Horn, incarnate.com. And thank you again so much for coming in and hanging out. I'm going to go get some rest, have some lunch, and then might be playing in possibly a one-shot with Thea later this afternoon. So don't forget to hit that follow button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for all the support that's gotten Law & Order to where it has. We're so much further along than we thought we'd be after just 2 weeks. And can't tell you how happy just being involved with Law & Order has made me. Have a fantastic afternoon, evening, night, wherever it is you are. And we'll see you on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Toodaloo.